Saiyan's hair is a major part of their iconic appearance. Not only do we have all sorts of different looks and styles, but on top of this, we have all the different colors that indicate the different transformations, as well as even indications of family lineage, as we can see with Goku and Bardock. However, this isn't always the case. How's it going, everybody? Vegeta saying, what is good to all my Super Saiyan homies, here to bring you all sorts of Dragon Ball content. And today, what we're going to be talking about is why Raditz doesn't look like Bardock and Goku, or at least a theory, a speculation as to why. We know that pure-blooded Saiyans are able to maintain their hairstyles their entire lives, and this is confirmed for us by Vegeta when him and Trunks step out of the hyperbolic time chamber. Bulma notes that Trunks' hair has gotten significantly longer, while Vegeta's hasn't changed at all. At which point, Vegeta gives the explanation that pure-blooded Saiyans have thankfully been spared the grotesquity of hair growth. But this doesn't necessarily give us an explanation as to why Saiyan hairstyles look the way that they do, and more so really only gives an explanation as to how they're able to maintain them for so long. In fact, the only actual explanation we ever get in terms of the actual physical appearance of any Saiyan hairstyle comes from a non-canon source, and that is Tree of Might. When facing off with Turles, who looks almost exactly like Goku other than their skin tone, the explanation that Turles is able to offer us is that low-class Saiyan warriors only have so many distinctive physical traits, and since they're both low-class Saiyan warriors, the likelihood of them looking like one another isn't all that far-fetched. But what does this mean for Raditz himself? Because in reality, when we take a look, this doesn't actually just apply to the low-class Saiyan warriors, at least in terms of family lineage. Because not only do we see that Bardock and Goku look similar to one another, other than the scar on Bardock's face, we're also able to see that King Vegeta and Prince Vegeta look near identical to one another, minus the beard that King Vegeta sports. Even more so, in my opinion, I feel as though Super Saiyan 3 Goku doesn't look any more like Raditz other than the length himself. Though yes, it has gotten longer, in terms of the pattern and shape of their hairstyle, they don't necessarily match up. The only things that are similar are those jagged edges that we get in pretty much all Saiyan hairstyles, and once again, the length. However, though he may not look like Bardock and Goku, there is actually a character in their family who does sport a very similar hairstyle, despite it not being of similar length and proportion, and that is Gine. Now, there are two things I want to consider when actually taking a look at this. The first thing that I want to consider is, once again as we said, with Super Saiyan 3 Goku, though his hair is long like Raditz's, the major difference between the styles themselves is that Goku's hair in Super Saiyan 3 tends to get wild and expands at the bottom, whereas Raditz condenses and rejoins itself at the bottom, similar to where it peaks at the top of his head. When we take a look at Gine, she also has these jagged edges that once again we see in many Saiyan hairstyles, but it does a similar pattern to that of Raditz. It seems to expand in the middle a bit wider than the size of her head, and then condenses itself more so at the bottom. Very similar to her oldest son, Raditz. Next thing that I want to note actually requires us to take a look not only at adult Raditz and Gine, but kid Raditz as well from the Dragon Ball Super Broly movie. Now, as we can see with Raditz as an adult, he does have three prominent tufts of hair at the top of his head, with the one in the middle being rather thick and the two at the top somewhat pointing off like hyena or dog ears. Though it's a bit off to the left side of her head, Gine does actually sport these similar ear-like tufts with a small little strand pointing up in the middle. Now, at first we can say, well, it's not necessarily the same because, it is just the one small strand for Gine, but in terms of proportions, it does actually make a lot of sense. As Raditz grew and got older, and as his hair proportionally grew with his body, that thin strand getting thicker makes perfect sense. Now, if you don't necessarily believe that that strand would have gotten thicker, well, let's take a look at an image from Dragon Ball Super Broly. When viewing Child Raditz and Child Vegeta after being informed that Planet Vegeta had been destroyed, and taking a zoom-in look on Child Raditz, we can once again see these three tufts, and what is going on with the middle one? It is just a single strand, proving that at some point as he got older, it just proportionally got thicker. And so, in conclusion, my theory as to why Raditz doesn't look like Bardock or Goku is that he simply got his mother's genetics. He's his mother's son. And that's my theory, and I'm sticking to it. Thanks everybody who tuned in. I hope you enjoyed this video. We're definitely going to be trying to do more theory videos on the channel, and I will see you all in the next one. Peace out. Have a great day.